What is hardening off and why do we do it? Let's talk about it. So hardening off basically is something that needs to be done when you grow your plants or you start your seeds indoors, because when you put them outside to live their life and they haven't been exposed to a lot of sun, the sun is so hot that it can damage the plants. It can burn them, things like that. It's just better practice to go ahead and harden off your plants. So that is what I'm going to do this morning. Usually this becomes a job that all of my plants get messed up and like mixed up. So what I'm going to do is these two top rows here, this one here and this one here, are the plants that I'm going to plant in my garden. Everything else is just, besides these artichokes, these are going in my garden as well. Everything else that I have here are plants that I'm going to be sharing with people, and they are a little bit smaller, so they are not quite ready to be put out yet. So I am just going to put out the plants that I plan on planting out on the table to harden off. I'm going to be using this table right here to set my plants on. As soon as the sun comes up over the house, it's going to shine down on here, and it is morning sun. And that is the least intense, I suppose, sun of the day. So I'm going to get these out here and we'll talk about what's next. Now, because I have so many plants, I like to use a tray to bring them out because otherwise it would just take too long if they were coming out two at a time. Now, I will leave these plants outside for about an hour today, but I will come out here every single day and do this, but every day I will leave them out just a little bit longer. Now, anything that is way too small to go out there, I'm just going to leave those in here because they won't be going out anyways anytime soon. Alright, so now we're just going to leave those outside and then we will be bringing those back in about an hour. These guys have successfully lived outside for 24 hours. So the process of hardening off, basically in and out, in and out, in and out for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours at a time per day until you can get them to stay outside overnight, and then they are good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start planting some of these things in the garden, which is pretty exciting because it's the first planting for the spring-summer garden. So I'm gonna grab some artichokes. These guys are more than ready to go into some containers, and I have 5 containers so far, so I'm gonna pick the best ones. So I'm gonna grab some of these and then I'm going to put them in their pots. Next, I think I'm going to grab some zucchinis and cucumbers because the tomatoes and the peppers are going to go in the other garden. And since we are right here, I'm going to grab the things that are going in this garden. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just going to come in here and just kind of mess around with the layout of what I want where. Now, I do have onions in here still, but these things are getting ready to be pulled out of here. So I am going to go ahead and plant some smaller squash or zucchini or something back in this area. That way, when I go to pull the onions in about a month or so, the zucchinis won't be too big. That may not be the right thing to do, but that's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to put 3 here and 3 in that front bed. Alright, so the rest is pretty simple. Just going to dig a hole and get these in there. And I'm going to leave the cups by the plant because I need to get labels for them and I don't want to forget what is where. So I'm going to get the rest of these in the ground and then we'll talk artichokes. Okay, now one of the most important things to do in the garden, at least in my opinion, is to label. Now these labels are pretty microscopic, but they're gonna have to make do because I paid for them and I ordered them, so they're gonna get used. This is spaghetti, if I can even write on them. Whew. Tiny. So originally I had planned on planting my artichokes in the ground in this spot right here, but because of my history with gophers, and there was actually a gopher in the garden, this garden last year, but all of my boxes are lined with mesh on the bottom, except for one that used to hold, that one now has the mesh in there, but before I put mesh in there, the gopher came and took all of my onions. So I decided against it, against putting them in the ground. So instead I went ahead and filled up these large, I think they're 20-gallon felt grow bags, and I think they will do just fine in here. I'm gonna start with 5 plants. I have, I believe, 10 plants, and I may take those other plants, if these ones all survive and I don't have to replace any of them, I may take those other plants and try to put them in the ground somewhere and see what happens. Time will tell. But the thing about artichokes is that I'm not going to label these because, well, they're pretty distinctive just based off of their looks, so I should not have a problem remembering that I put these here. Oh, lovely. That's interesting. Let me see. Get it. I just found this little tiny baby snake shed right down there. Hopefully he was able to get out. I mean, he's tiny, but I don't see him caught up in the wires or anything. But yeah, that's cool. All right, I'm gonna get to cleaning up and then I'm going to head over to the other garden and plant some tomatoes and peppers. And then after I get done planting the tomatoes and peppers, I am going to come back through and fertilize everything with a liquid fertilizer, because it's been a couple weeks since I last fertilized and they could use it. Now I have to decide what I'm going to take to the pepper garden. This one's going for sure. And then, let's see, orange, that'll go. Ghost pepper. Let's see. Tabasco, jalapeno, Tabasco, okay, I'm gonna grab these and then I'm gonna come back and grab some more. I am probably making a bad decision here, but I am going to try and get 8 plants per planter box. So we will see what that looks like. Let me get these in here though. All right, I'm gonna do likes with likes. So I'm gonna do Tabasco, the jalapeno. I only have 1 penis pepper and 1 ghost pepper, so those will go together like that. And I may have another orange bell pepper, or wait, I should probably do hot peppers here. I'm gonna go grab some more peppers. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. What I put? I wanted to show that since I up-potted these or potted these into different soil, they have definitely done much better. So I'm glad that I went ahead and took the time to change out the soil that was in a lot of these peppers because they just weren't doing good. So gardening doesn't always go the way that we plan it to, or that we expect it to, or that we think that it should go. It's a learning process. I'm constantly learning all the time when it comes to my garden, and just kind of looking for the signs that I need to be looking for. So don't get discouraged if your plants are dying. Try again. That's why we sow more than we need, just in case things like this happen or a critter gets them in the actual garden. We have replacements for that. So I hope that this inspires you to get out there and grow a garden of your own. And until next time, bye.